That was some good stuff, though. You should have been recording.
Well, I mean, I technically got it.
Just joking.
No, I was good insight. Because I noticed that your hoodie, I almost bought that hoodie H&M.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Creative director.
I thought it was interesting. I was like, that's the type of hoodie, but I didn't buy it. But
Appreciate it. I like this hoodie. It's actually very comfortable.
yeah, what did I get? I think I got a Jurassic Park one instead. For real. I was like, yeah, I need a black one.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know, tan isn't my color, I guess. But
I never thought it was mine either. I like what it said.
yeah, I support some people that make some creative shirts. Explore and evolve. I don't know if you ever heard of Be Better Journey, Angelique. I'll turn you on
Better
to.
journey.
So, obviously, starting off this, today is December 30th, 2022, about to go into the new year. It's always weird going into a new year because you can never like get the dates right a lot of times.
Yeah.
I know like all the first week of January I'll be writing 2022. But I feel like the past year, was some of the stuff that I've gone through and to the point where I'm at now, like to be able to talk to people that, like I said, I find interesting, that are doing positive things in the space, and for one are open enough and like like you said at one point, one of our pre-discussions, where you're not insecure and you're
Yeah.
getting to the point where you're being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So just to, tell the people like a little bit about who you are, and then we can kind of get this going.
Okay.
I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, like, 2 years ago, I remember slamming my Zoom meeting webcam shut because I didn't even want to be put on the spot because he called on me to say something. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I don't blocked out that time in my life, but I was so scared and nervous to actually talk in front of people and just to be online or even have people looking at me while I speak. During that Zoom meeting, during the webinar, was very overwhelming for me. And so I slammed it shut and I was crying and crying. And I don't know why I did that, but I did because I'm not a shy person really. I never considered myself to be shy. I guess I just didn't like the attention that was on me at that time, but it was my first time. I didn't even know how to work a computer before then as well. So learning how to trade and do technology and all this, it was kind of overwhelming for me at that time, I guess. But yeah. Okay.
Two years ago? No, you're good.
2 years ago.
So 2020. So like the start of the pandemic.
Yep, right at the beginning of the pandemic. That's for sure. Or right after it started, probably like a few months in.
Well, let's get to who you thought you were at that point, and who you are now. Let's get your name and kind of like what do you consider yourself? I don't like to use labels. I personally think that just walking through the world saying I am is good enough. You don't have to be I am an entrepreneur. I am, this. That,
I am Sana.
Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, my name is Rosanna Polanco, but you can call me Sana. Everybody calls me Sana. I prefer to be called Sana. That's my nickname that I've had pretty much my whole life. I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 in May, and I'm the mother of 3 beautiful children that are 16, 11, and 6. And I come from Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, I was born here, but I also have family in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I've been back and forth my whole life. My dad's side is out there, and my mom's side lives here. So when I would get in trouble here, they would send me over there, and then vice versa. But I decided to stay here about a little bit over 10 years ago, I would say. I decided to stay and not go back to Vegas. I mean, of course, I went back to visit, but I
Right.
lived here. And it's crazy how you live here in this complex because I actually lived here for 8 years before I started my entrepreneur journey. I ended up selling my townhome and to a mutual friend, and yeah, I was supposed to like buy a house, and they ended up accepting somebody else's offer like last minute. So I think I needed that though because I had ended up losing my job too at the same time, and but I had to go through like a grievance process with any. I used to work at Kellogg's,
Mm-hmm.
so but I ended up winning my case and going back, but then I left and just said forget that place. But okay, well, sorry, I'm
Broke the
getting into
shackles.
something else.
No, you're good.
But
That's your journey.
yeah, it's definitely how it all started, on why I decided to become an entrepreneur and not let my life be in the hands of someone else anymore. Because I went from making about 45,000 a year to making 73,000 a year to like not even making 20 a year during the pandemic. So everything that I worked my whole life for, I lost, but I also gave up so much more willingly and just let it go to start over again, to to unlearn and relearn everything that I know now, I guess. I had to unlearn. I was willing to unlearn everything that I grew up knowing, the way of life, the philosophies, just because everything that I worked for and everything that I believed in, it didn't work because, COVID happened. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, COVID either made a lot of people or it broke a lot of people. In the beginning, I was pretty broken, but you can't hit rock bottom and expect to build off a surface that's not, you have to have a
So,
secure foundation. So
isn't it crazy how we can unprogram our brains from stuff that we thought that we needed or stuff that
it
we
is.
considered us? We
Right.
identified with it so much, and then all of a sudden, once it's gone, we're like, man, I'm not even that person. Like, I can live without it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, materialistic items, they can always be replaced. Money comes and goes. So
But even,
why let that make you happy?
but even the idea, the stuff that we thought was making us happy can also make us, unhappy. Um,
What do you mean by that?
well, kind of going through the same process you were saying, like people were either getting paid or losing their jobs during
Oh,
COVID, and at the time, I was married, just had a baby, and I thought that I had it all. Like I let victory defeat me at the point where I felt like I didn't necessarily have to achieve some of the things as long as I can financially provide for my daughter and set her up, um, for certain investments in the future. I was content, and in the back of my mind, I knew I wasn't living up to my full potential. And
yeah,
if I would have kept on that path, like I never would have been able to do some of the stuff that I'm doing now.
right.
And it took like taking a pay cut and
Mm-hmm.
losing it all essentially, and
Mm-hmm.
then building back up, but from different foundation blocks opposed to what we learned as kids. We briefly talked about having troubled past, especially in school, how the education system, wasn't necessarily set up for us,
Yeah.
but yet we still strive to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But once you figure out the stuff that they didn't want to teach you is the most important stuff,
Yeah.
it opens up.
To definitely be successful. And I mean, I believe the school system that we have now definitely builds great employees, but they don't build employers if, you know, they don't. I mean, there's a lot of great people out there, and there's a lot of employers that are good out there that need great employees, So, I mean, I would never bash that, but it doesn't give opportunity to a lot of people that want to be an employer. if that makes sense. So once you figure out that there's more out there to what you already know, because you don't know what you don't know, and how are you going to know unless you go out there and seek exactly the results that you want to see?
That's facts, though. Good help is hard to find.
Right.
Well, so fighting the authority whenever you're younger, but then getting to a point where you're trying to motivate people to actually do work, and you realize, man, like you'll never want it as bad as I want it, so you're not going to work as hard for what I want as I would.
Exactly.
Do you think that? And I'm just asking because I'm curious about how people go through like separation of parents. My parents were divorced. Do you think that motivated you, or what part of that did that show you as a kid with have parents living in two different states?
Well, the so my stepdad, he's my stepdad.
Okay.
That lives in Vegas. So I never really knew my real dad, but I met some of his family that lives in Vegas, my real dad. My dad was actually in prison my whole life. So, and my stepdad, we never really had a bond, I guess. So he was mainly the father figure of my siblings. And for some reason, I don't know why they were sending me back and forth, but, you know, and he never really claimed me to be his daughter, but his mother claimed me to be his granddaughter. So that was the only reason why I was even welcomed over there.
Did he have any other kids?
He has one other daughter with another woman.
But that was like after.
But that was it. Yeah, that was after. She's a little bit older than my brother. So he's the oldest boy. He's the second oldest. I'm the oldest of 7. So his sister is, I think she's like a year older. I think she's my age. She's actually my age. I don't know. I've never met her, but she lives in Texas. Well, she had lived in Texas when we were in Vegas. So she was kind of
distant.
Yeah, she was distant as well. So, but yeah, I'm the oldest of 7. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters. We don't have the same dad. My dad, he actually found me after high school. He lives in Arizona, but I've never met him in person. I've only spoken to him on the phone and through Facebook. I've seen pictures like that. But I wouldn't say that was my motivation to do what I wanted to do, because my mom, she's always been, like you were talking about your mom earlier, like she was never really nurturing. She was always used to being taken care of, but she had so many kids. I don't know, but she was never really that loving mother. I don't even remember the last time she gave me a hug or anything like that. But I would say during COVID too, like right in the beginning, I was actually going through a divorce myself with my ex-husband, and we had just gotten married. We weren't even married a year before we were already ready for divorce. And I think a lot had to do with working at my job. I worked 12, 16-hour day shifts at Kellogg's, and that could be a real strain on a relationship. Even though I was making so much more money, than I was before, it was just he was more old school, wanted me to do everything in the house but still work all these hours, and I'm like, nah, bro, you're gonna help me. Like it shouldn't be like that. Like I believe somebody should be, I don't believe in 50-50. I believe somebody should be 100 and 100 and come together and actually build their lives together, and actually not just have everything put on one person. Because I don't think he liked the fact that I worked more than him, but I also made more than him at that time. And he refused to be with the kids, and I'm just like, well, then it's not going to work, But we had spoken about it before I even started that job, which was crazy, how it all worked out. But I think that really motivated me to actually, because I was always I wanted to be different than my mother. You know, I still wanted to take care of my kids. I went days without even sleeping sometimes. I would just sleep at work, just so I can, make sure they eat something, or I would come home on my breaks to make sure they had dinner, and I wouldn't even eat sometimes. I lost so much weight working there. It was crazy. I hardly slept. And one
That's why
time
I
I
found
even,
a rat in my cereal.
huh?
That's why I found a rat in my cereal because you fell asleep on the job.
Rush. No, we actually made Cheez Its. I
Oh,
made
okay.
Cheez Its. So that wasn't me.
Well, that's kind of why I asked you, because from the point where like you didn't have that family dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
so you want to make sure that you give your kids opportunities and kind of spend that with them,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great motivating factor. And then, yeah, no, the strain on a relationship, especially like if you guys work in separate hours,
Yeah.
It, the gender roles of men and women nowadays, you know, have flipped.
Yeah.
Uh, which having a young daughter now gives me more respect for, because I want her to be independent. I want her to have positive female role models.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching the movies with her now because a lot of them are like, badass female characters in them.
Yeah. That's good.
Which is a definite positive. Um, but I still worry about her. It's a hard
Yeah.
place for women just in general. Um,
Yeah. I believe a woman should do whatever it is that she wants to do with her life. Not be based off of past traditions. I mean, there's a lot of strong women in the world right now. And at the same time, as I was working that job to be able to provide for my family, even though I wasn't able to take care of them, I did my best to take care of them physically, but I was able to take care of them financially for the most part instead of physically, so it was always one or the other. I could either take care of them physically and not financially, or I could take care of them financially but not physically, and that puts a lot of stress, not just on our relationship, but on myself, or yourself, or whoever the case may be. But, you know, but what I was trying to, I forgot what I was going to go with that, but
I didn't mean to throw you off track.
I'm sorry.
Out because when you were talking about going to work at Kellogg's, obviously you knew that wasn't something that you wanted to do forever, right?
Right.
You're making good money.
I hated that job. Sorry.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that work there, and they go there for the money. But when I'm seeing them or talking to them, I'm just like, man, like it's a slave labor.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's an easy job.
Is it?
Like it's not hard, but it sucks. It's it's long hours. I remember one time I was forced for like a little bit over 3 months to work 16-hour days shifts straight.
Oh, because you have to.
Yeah, it was mandatory because if somebody else doesn't come, you have to take over. So it was a little bit over 3 months that I worked straight 16-hour day shifts. And that's what it took. It just went downhill from there. So, I mean, the money was great, but I mean, I never had time to spend it or do anything. I just paid bills. I worked to pay bills.
That's all it is, yep.
That's all it is. And that's what I decided. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't care how long it takes me.
So when you were there, where did you imagine being? Like, what was your passion? If somebody didn't have to pay you to do something, like, did you have anything in your mind? You know what? If I could do something else, this is what I would do.
Honestly, at that time, no, I didn't even know what I wanted to do for real. I could tell you how I felt before I went in there, leaving from because I worked for Joe's Kansas City Barbecue for 10 years off and on. And, I was loyal to that company. They're good owners. I actually like that place. It's definitely, they're good people, so that's why I was so loyal to them. But it just wasn't doing enough for my family anymore. So I had to make a decision and actually change work environments, even though it had been so long since I had applied or, made a resume or whatever the case may be. But I was just so excited to actually be able to make more money to provide for my family, to actually be able to maybe go travel or enjoy a vacation and go out to eat more or just enjoy each other's company, you know, and time. But really, it took all my time and I didn't have no more time. And I had more time before than I had, you know, in that present moment. But
I think it was J. Cole said, I liked it better when I was broke. So no.
mm-hmm.
And you always wonder, like, okay, yeah, I understand, but I think, yeah, it's simpler life is great, but I mean, but you're just a worker. You know that you're not gonna be owning your own business or like responsible for your own time. So getting to the point where you are able to buy your time back is the ultimate goal now,
Right.
which is cool. Like I think that's how I got wind of you. Like obviously doing trades. I don't know how much you want to speak into that. One thing I learned about investments too is that don't like to talk about investments.
You don't like to talk about investment?
No, I've had experiences.
Why?
Let's just say for security reasons.
Okay.
One main thing about investing too is like not telling people what you're investing, you know, or you don't like to speak about money in general, you know, how much, asking somebody how much they make and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Profits and stuff.
But yeah, because like you, I believe like in certain relationships, you should be 100. And, you know, when you don't get that reciprocation, it's easy to be too forthcoming. I feel like I was, you know, overexposed. And then, you know,
Like overexposed, like how you seen some profit in that way, or that you thought that you should have as well, or
well, I was well, I guess I can talk about it now because I don't got it no more, but diversifying, you know, into certain assets. And I was, you know, doing decent, and like mainly it wasn't off trading. It was just picking certain investments that I thought had potential. So like the way that I would go about it, because I was curious in the technical analysis, trying to understand, you know, up or down, whether shorting it or, you know, longing. I never liked to touch leverage. Always thought that was just basically gambling.
oh, that's stock talk.
Yeah.
I remember this now. We've been through this before.
But you see a lot of that happening. I don't know if you are aware of Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam Baker. Yeah.
FTX.
Yeah, the FTX owner, the co-owner.
Yeah.
Or co-founder, whatever.
Well, I wasn't invested in FTX, but obviously, who was it? Tom Brady lost $650 million.
Wow.
Because he had all his money. Like, he stored his money in FTX. And then when the dude basically took off with all the cash, he lost all his money.
And that's crazy because, you know, I don't really watch the news, and that just recently happened like a couple weeks ago. So that was like the only time I actually watched the news, and just to see like what's going on, because, you know, it's very unfortunate that happened to a lot of people, you know, and that sucks. And I really feel for those individuals, but that just goes to show how there's so many people out there that are not really educated on the correct information that they need to know about, you know, and because that could have definitely been like avoided with a lot of people, and they wouldn't have to lose their money like that, you know. But Sam, I don't know if it's true or not, like, because with them there was a lot of back and forth going on. I don't know exactly what really happened, but there are ways to avoid situations like that. And, you know, that's all I can really say about that. But there are ways out there that ain't happening to me, you know, like to people that I'm associated with as well, because we actually know better than to leave so much money on something like that, you know.
Self-custody.
So exactly. Like there's other ways that you can have, like, nobody should have so much access to your money anyways. Just like the banks, or maybe I'm getting a little bit too deep here, but I mean the banks actually, they hold and they control everybody's money. You know, you trust the bank, you get paid, you put your money in an account, and they can do whatever they want with it. But in reality, they're using your money to actually profit off of and giving you breadcrumbs. You know, because they only give you not even a 1% at the end of the year.
They're loaning it out for 25%.
Exactly, but little do people know is that they actually trade and invest with their money that they keep in the bank for them. You know, they take 80% and leave 20% in your account, and they use that 80% to go trade it, mainly trade it really. And once they hit that profit, because they know how to read the market, they know what they're doing. They're friends with Wall Street. That's why they're so big and powerful. But they have the information that's been withheld from us for generations, you know. And but once, that's why I'm so confident in myself now after knowing all of this and learning all of this and doing whatever I needed to do to be able to reinvest into me learning and growing, you know, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, whatever the case may be. Like I knew I had to reinvest into myself to continue to grow in every aspect in life. So because I wasn't gonna go back to the life that I used to live, but I had made that decision. So, but anyways, to the point, Sam, like everything that happened with Sam, it could have been avoided with all those people.
Yeah, all I heard was you call Tom Brady stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what they're gonna.
I mean, you only know what you know, and it's just it sucks because they only teach you what they want you to know, unless you go out there and you find the answer for yourself. You have to continue moving and grooving. I mean, if you don't vibe with somebody, you have to want to have control over your own life. Some people are just so comfortable with letting other people tell them what to do, and me personally, I'm not. Well, at least not anymore.
That's it, Tom. Shut up and throw the ball.
Just throw the ball, Tom.
Um,
You were supposed to retire anyways. What's going on?
And he just got divorced too, so like.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he probably lost half of that and then loses the rest.
Oh,
in the rug pull.
Wow.
But yeah, no. From what I understand, he like $80 billion is just gone.
That's crazy.
80, or it might be 8 billion. 80 billion. No, I think it might be 80 billion because they said that he was possibly going to be like the first trillionaire or something. And obviously, fact check me if you need to. But if you start digging, then of course, our work is done. You're learning.
That's crazy.
But now, yeah, self custody is the way to go.
Right.
But I am curious about Forex. One of the guys that I used to follow, like he used to talk about Forex all the time. I think his was the dollar and the yen. And you'd be surprised how
the USD and JPY.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why you're the expert.
I wouldn't call myself an expert. But.
In this room, you are. Okay. So, in regards, because I got stock talk. He would always kind of overlay maps. And you can see different trends in the market and like with Bitcoin and, you know, with the different pairs.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And once I learned that you can literally trade off the cycles of the moon.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. So
I actually know someone that her name is Kareen. She actually teaches that. She's an educator off the cycles of the moon.
Was she into the moon first, or was she into
like the full moon and the eclipse? And no, she wasn't into that in the beginning, but she is now recently. It's because the market just it's a repeating cycle, honestly. So if you compare, right now we're actually looking at graphs where our charts where if you go back to 2008, everything's kind of lining up the same way. And so that's why we're saying our theory is like in the next couple of years, we're going to have the first, millionaires, billionaires within cryptocurrency or, the Forex market, because it's a repeating cycle. There is a lot going on right now though, because I think they're starting to catch on to us a little bit, when I say us, Forex traders, because I think they really try to make Forex look bad because it goes against the banks and we trade against them, but we actually learned ways on being able to trade with them kind of, and to actually take the same moves that they're doing as well. Watch. Yeah. Okay. So pretty much.
No, that's...
It's a repeating cycle. It's a rhythm. As soon as you learn the rhythm and market structure, once it clicks, it'll change your life forever.
Is it the pattern of threes or the tops? That's what I was learning from the guy. He was explaining it to me. Because of course we're cool on YouTube. But I thought it was cool though, because I would like make comments on the page and he would respond back to them. So I'm like, hey, look. He's from the UK, and okay. I liked his style. I thought that for one, he explained it well. Two, he made it interesting, and the concept of supply and demand, he would add into it. So
that's basically market structure, supply and demand.
Talking about the market makers and how, in order for somebody to sell, like somebody has to buy. So when it's going up, you're thinking that, okay, yeah, I need to go ahead and FOMO into this. And that's on a longer time frame. Of course, you do short time frames, right?
Don't FOMO over nothing. Fear of missing out. There's more where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Once you figure out how to do it up and down, for sure, like the market ain't going nowhere.
Right.
But I was always weary about leveraging down, like trying to short the market.
And that's only because you've been taught to buy.
No, I mean...
In the beginning,
yeah. I was a consumer. But I was into the technology side of it. So in the beginning, when I first started investing, it was Tesla.
Oh, yeah. Tesla's really down right now a lot.
What? I don't know where they're at now. I haven't followed them.
I mean, I don't know either, but I seen it a couple of weeks ago when I was watching the news about Sam. So,
well, that's because he bought Twitter. So that's where he fucked up.
They were talking a lot about that too.
But like I was looking at it and it was like $400 or $500, and that's what I was going hard on, and then it ended up going to like a 12. But of course I held, and I took some profits, but I held, just believing in like the overall structure of the. I still think like Tesla's a great company. They're doing great things in solar.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I want a Tesla car if I can get one. Cybertrucks, those are dope.
You can actually get one as a company car.
Yeah, people be driving them as Ubers and stuff.
Write it off. Yep. It's a write-off. It qualifies for a write-off.
Well, I know that anything over a certain weight can be considered a write-off.
Or depreciation.
Yeah, the depreciation factor of it. But yeah, if it's a company vehicle, you can write that off. But I don't know what article that is. This isn't financial advice, folks.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not. Don't. I'm not a financial advisor. I tell people that all the time.
I mean, you have to.
I'm just speaking what I know and what, I don't speak out of fear. I speak out of experience. So.
Well, that's what the market is. Fear and greed.
So, yeah. Fear from the uneducated, pretty much.
So now you're calling me stupid.
No, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not calling you stupid.
I've been programmed, people. I'm sorry. I've been programmed. I'm trying to work myself out of it. And maybe it's just I understand the concepts of it, but to me it's still a foreign language, right? Because I'm not actively doing it. If I was actively doing it, of course I'd be able to keep up with you. It
definitely looks like Chinese in the beginning. Tell you that.
It's hieroglyphics. Yeah, no, definitely.
It really does.
But once you get into the matrix of it all, like you start looking at it and you realize, oh wow, pips and numbers and like percentages. It's like, oh, okay, this like, why didn't they show us this? You know, why don't they want us to know it? But now that they do know that we know it, I think that there is some psychological warfare going on.
Yeah.
So when everybody, you know, is getting greedy, you know, that's when they're gonna start pulling it out. So
I agree.
that's my only thing. So trying to find high conviction investments and then just, you know, steady coursing. So just dollar cost averaging into it. Don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. And then you still have your trading portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
But that got mixed real quick.
Yeah.
And then
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you do your shorts, or when you're in the stock market, what time frame do you trade off of, or what do you invest in? What time frame do you use?
So I would normally do like the 4 hours, or I would
4
do
hours
daily.
Okay.
And then like the higher time frames. I wanted to see the overall trends. Because I didn't mind waiting. I was working all during COVID. So all during COVID, I was working from home. So while I was working from home, you know, I was doing overtime, just had my baby. Like I wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I didn't care about, like you said, I was working so much I didn't have time to spend the money.
Right.
So investing it and just setting and forgetting, that was my strategy, which, like I said, was working well. But then
that makes sense.
The market crashed at home, put it that way.
Yeah.
And then things just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of markets crashed in the stock market, you know, because that's just the money that's fluctuating between companies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it fluctuates between companies. So if their company is going down, like during COVID, nobody was spending money, nobody was working. So, you know, of course, a lot of companies crashed. So that's why a lot of the stocks crashed. But within the foreign exchange market, which is a forex market, it's the currency between countries. So, you know, the US dollar, the Japanese yen, the Canadian dollar, Australian dollar. So, of course, it what goes up has to come down. But the educational platform that I'm partnered with that actually teaches individuals how to read the market when it's going up and down, you know, how to sell and buy, we use smaller time frames as well, you know, like the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30 an hour. Mm-hmm. You know, we also use a 4 hour daily. I'm a day trader, so I like to look at the daily and the 4 hour chart as well when I trade to know which way the market is going. So, because that actually predicts the overall trend, you know. But I'm not trying to be in there that long, if that makes sense, on certain pairs, on certain currency pairs. So I watch on the 1 hour and I find my entries on the 5 and the 15-minute time frames. And sometimes it lasts to 4 hours, maybe 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours, you know, and with that's what, 3 candles a whole day. That's like a 12-hour shift, you know. Once you realize that you can make as much money as you did at a job working 12 hours just from the comfort of your phone, like, why would you want to go back to work? And that's what changed my life too, because I made as much as I did in a day at Kellogg's within 15 minutes with one of my educators not even knowing what I was doing within my first month of being a part of, you know, the platform that I was with. So once that happened, I was like, I didn't care what I had to do or whatever the case may be. Like,
you were going to figure it out.
I was going to figure it out and master this skill. That's for sure. And I was broke. I don't recommend everybody doing it like that. You know, I decided not to go back to work because it definitely was hard. I'm not going to say, you know, start trading and quit your job because that's not how it happens. You know,
Like,
it's Chinese in the beginning. Like,
yeah.
it's, you know, it's not easy, but it's worth it once it clicks. It'll definitely change your life forever.
You're broke, but you're still going all in, right? So like,
Yeah, I went all in.
ultimately, you're betting on yourself,
Exactly.
right?
I bet on myself. This past 2 years, that's all I've been doing is betting on myself.
What gave you the confidence to do that?
And knowing that I could make as much as I did in a whole day within 15 minutes.
So it was the one experience, or did
That
you
one
have
experience changed my whole perspective on life. Why continue to go break my back for an employer that didn't care not one fuck about me when I can actually do this instead and actually bet on myself, maybe even have more time for myself, for my children, to be able to take care of my family physically and financially.
Stay blessed, folks. See, I definitely like that. Like, you were trapped in a corporate job, and then, like, or working for a corporation, and now you're the creative director of your own life.
Yep, exactly.
That's fantastic.
You know, I mean, we receive our imagination for a reason. Why ignore it?
Oh, now you're getting philosophical. Okay, we can dive into that. I see you got some tattoos. Is there anything significant, or you like
on my
artwork?
sleeve here. This was actually done by Isai Moya. I've known him for a long time. He's actually a really good friend of mine.
Is that recent?
No, I got this done during the time I was going through a divorce with my husband. So, right, but it's actually, it says I'll forever cherish our timeshare, and it has my children's names on it with my favorite flowers, which are lily and roses, white lily and roses. And then the clock is just to represent the time.
That's
It has my cousin's birthday that passed away a few years ago.
Were you close, obviously?
Yeah, she actually used to live here in Berkshire.
Dun, dun, dun.
She was 15 when she died. My 11-year-old is actually named after her, Naomi Reina.
Oh, dang.
But her name was Reina Naomi.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Reina.
Yeah, Reina.
She was a boxer.
She was a boxer. Yep, exactly. Oh, nice. That's my cousin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember when that happened. Tragic.
Mm-hmm.
You hate to see somebody so young and promising. I remember she was a pretty good boxer.
She was. She was actually, they called her the Queen of the Ring. She was, I think, like 15-2 when she passed away, or 15-3, something
So
like that.
how old she have been now?
She would have been about 27 today. Yeah. Her birthday actually just passed December 7th.
Well, you'll never forget it. That's what's up.
Uh-huh.
It's funny how, like, you're saying you're going through a divorce and you end up getting tattoos. I think a lot of times when people are going through stuff that, they need a drastic change, whether it's your hair color or whether,
Mm-hmm.
but tattoos they can be addicting.
Yeah, I have a
Like-
few. I mean, all my tattoos have meaning behind them, so
Right.
that's basically.
I would hope so. I hope you didn't get nothing just kind of like random, because they give free tattoos out like on Friday the 13th and stuff.
Do they really?
And no, I haven't thought about it that hard. But yeah, no, when I got a few tattoos too, and it was like definitely when you're going through something, like you don't feel numb, you just like the pain. At the same time, like it isn't.
Yeah. Oh, I was definitely numb to the pain.
Well, for me, it made me feel alive. Like I felt like I was
Really?
numb to everything else, but just
Wow.
like to feel something. I remember going to like the ripcord, and like
Really?
somebody was like, "Let's go do the ripcord," and I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Never did it before in my life, and at that point, I was like, "I wish this thing would
Right.
pull that cord."
Kind of like skydiving, maybe.
I've done that too.
I've never done it. I want to, but I've never done it.
Yeah, that's
Definitely on the goal list.
a weird feeling. Just well, jumping out of a good airplane first off, but then one, I'm strapped to a dude. Um,
Right.
um, and like he
That's
didn't even buy me
the
dinner
awkward
or
part.
nothing. Yeah, but he was a cool guy.
We're gonna die. We're gonna die together.
He's all pull my cord. That's not your cord, bro. Yeah, but no, like I wanted to do it myself. I thought that would have been pretty cool. Like to, but I guess you gotta do it a number of times. You have to have X amount of jumps before you can jump yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For one, I'm pretty sure they got to make sure that you're not gonna pass out. But
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope I don't pass out.
So what is on your bucket list then?
What's on my bucket list? Well, I want to actually go to Dubai. I really just want to travel the world with my family, you know, with my children especially. Just the ones that I care for the most in my life, to actually experience things that I've never experienced before, because I've worked since I was 15, so I don't even.
Okay. I thought you were picking favorites for a second. Like you were saying the ones that I care about the most. Like only these two kids. Yeah. This one has to stay.
Right. I tell all my kids they're my favorite. It was funny that you bring that up because last night, or not last night, but the night before, I was telling one of my daughters, I was like, "You're my favorite, but don't tell your sisters." But they're right there in the living room when they heard me say that, and they're like, "Yeah, I knew it was mine." It was a big funny ordeal, but she was like, she tells me that too. I'm like, well, I mean, I love all you guys the same, but I love you more. Right, exactly.
Well, luckily I don't have to worry about that because I only got the one daughter.
Mm-hmm. But all my daughters are different. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not the same at all. They all have their own personality, you know, which is great. You know, they're all their own character, and you know, I have to nourish each one differently, if that makes sense. But that doesn't mean that I love one more than the other. I love all my kids, so I would die for any one of them.
Well, let's hope it never happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's hope not.
Do you how are you doing co-parenting, if you don't mind?
That shit.
Okay, so it's a nerve we can back off of, but
no, it's not. I mean, it's a lot better now. Recently, you know, but we definitely had to work to that point. Okay. I don't know what our problem is, but it's better now. It's good. I mean, I'm just glad that
the kids
they're actually in their life, you know, because they weren't for a long time. So.
Well, I think about that because I was looking at, scrolling through, doom scrolling on the phone, and currently going through the process myself. One of the things that I screenshotted, where it was somebody talking about, okay, well, I'm glad that you have, these parents to model what a good relationship looks like for you. And the kid was like, well, you taught me something even better, how to be happy on my own. And I thought that was pretty deep.
Yeah, that is deep. I think that's the most important, actually, to be happy on that. Even like with me as well, like I had to be happy and enjoy my own company, after going through that divorce and not wanting to date at all. Like I've been single for 3 years now, almost 4 years. And, I'm okay with being alone, because I had been in a relationship my whole life with my kids' dad, and I was married and whatever the case was. But, that's the past. I don't want to be, like I was saying, like I really believe now that you should be 100%, you should be able to enjoy life 100%, be able to provide for yourself 100%, be able to, just live your life the way you want to 100%, and then come with someone else that's 100% as well, and coming together and building something together.
And that's an important factor, like, because what you were mentioning, build yourself. So I was listening to somebody on a podcast, and they were, I don't know if you know Jordan Peterson, or if you follow him, heard of him. He was talking to somebody, and like he gets a bunch of questions people ask him, like how do I find the perfect mate? And he was like, I didn't have an answer for him. And He was like, people kept asking and asking. I didn't have an answer. He was like, I realized why I didn't have an answer. It's like, it's a dumb question. He was all like, you make yourself, somebody that you want to be with, and ultimately, like, it'll happen at that point. And the reason I asked too, because like my parents, my dad, he was real bitter throughout the situation. Like, he carried that over, and he had a certain view on women that he would try to instill into me, and some of it probably seeped in, like unconsciously, or just imminent biases.
Yeah.
But then you realize, like, man, well, that's a horrible way to live.
It really is.
Because I got a 16-year-old little sister now, and he raises her by himself, and it's just all like, yeah, I can only imagine the stuff that she has to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, like, I actually believe too that my kids deserve the healed part of me and not the broken part. So I had to take that time to heal myself and to love the process of becoming the best version of myself. So that way I don't pass down that to them.
Trauma.
Yeah, that trauma. I had to heal from my past so I wouldn't, be so, because I used to be so negative all the time. Like, I wasn't always a positive person. I hated, well, hate's a strong word, but, like, I guess I had an anger issue, like anger management. I had to go to anger management.
You toxic? What?
No, I believe that the men that I was with made me that way. I'm just gonna blame it on somebody else. No, but really, like, it's just, I guess, just the way I grew up. I grew up in poverty, around stupid shit, and I felt like I always had to defend myself everywhere that I went, So it just had me create a negative mentality towards everyone, or even if somebody would look at me and I'm like, what the fuck you looking at, right. Instead of being like, oh, well, maybe they're just thinking about something. Or now I'm just like, now it doesn't even faze me, like they could just be thinking about whatever, but it's just building that positive mindset that I have to
it's
do.
funny when you're mature like that, you realize, well, for me, it was all about like understanding that, I was probably toxic too. I had some toxic traits that you pick up just from the environment.
Right, exactly. But
then,
once you start healing too, you never realized how many broken people that actually surrounded you and why you really had a lot of traits that you were so comfortable with. But once you start growing and healing yourself, you start distancing yourself from those people in order to elevate. I had to separate myself in order to elevate in life from a lot of people that I loved.
Who do you surround yourself with now?
Driven people, go-getters, people that actually have, like, that find themselves worthy. I never thought I was really worthy of a lot of blessings that that the Most High had for me. So, and just people that have the results that I seek, honestly. If I can't stand lazy people. If all you're doing is drinking, doing the same thing, and smoking, doing drugs every weekend, don't even come around me, or don't invite me to nothing like that, because I'm not going.
Show's over, folks. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm closing it.
Like, because I used to be an alcoholic too. So, and I did drugs, I smoked, and I'm not going to say I'm the perfect person, because I'm not. But I had to, I wanted to change my life. I didn't want to continue doing that. That had a control over me. And now I'm to the point where it doesn't control me no more, that I can actually control it. Because once I would have one drink, I would have to continue having a drink and drink and drink. Right. Even though I worked a lot, though, I said I called myself a functioning alcoholic, if that makes sense.
I know how that works.
And there's a lot of people that I know like that, but they're good people, but they just, I think people actually really drink to be numb to the pain, whatever it is that they're going through, to forget about what they're going through, or whatever it is that they're feeling in that moment, or why they do what it is that they do. I know the reasons why I did it.
Right.
So
Temporary pleasures, and you speak about
exactly.
healing, and trauma, and of course you correlate that with the people that you're hanging around with now. Do you think that like you're obviously you said the Most High? Do you feel like your spiritual journey helped out with that, or was it like
Oh yeah,
your
definitely.
mental health or understanding who you are, or what, or was it all a factor?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the Most High had everything to do with it, honestly, because before that, I was miserable. So, but before I actually got to learning and knowing His Word and having faith in Him and just trusting the process of the journey that He had really created me for, and just being even becoming more connected to him and connected with myself, it just all started to make sense, because I was sober, so I was able to reconnect with myself and to feel the Most High and to feel exactly what my true purpose was in life. And the road that I was going down, that wasn't who I really was.
And you said you're still on your journey and looking, like realizing who you are. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So for like my understanding and my beliefs, because I was raised Catholic, I was baptized Catholic, I was baptized Nazarene, baptized Christian.
Oh really? Me too.
So like,
I was Catholic.
Who do you believe, or like which traditions are you following for what reasons? When he says, "Where's the kingdom of heaven?"
I really don't. So I grew up Catholic. My kids were Catholic.
Are they baptized?
They were baptized Catholic as
First
well.
communions?
They actually, yep, they had, except for my youngest one, but my two oldest did have their first communions. They were baptized Catholic. They even went to Holy Name for a while as well. But I think them going there really had me, because I wanted them to be closer to God, to actually learn something that I couldn't really teach them at that time. But, I'm not trying to say it's a bad school or anything, but that really helped me realize that I didn't believe in their man-made God, because none of it made sense to me. They go and like hum and you don't really like learn anything, So I wouldn't say I'm not religious at all. I'm more spiritual. But being involved in a Christian church actually helped me learn His Word, and really, I'm not Christian, but they helped me a lot realize who I am spiritually, because they introduced a lot of things to me that a Catholic church couldn't introduce to me, if that makes sense.
Their messages are different, like
their messages
more contemporary.
Yeah, it is. So Nexus, I went to Nexus KC for a while. I still go there. I just haven't been there in a while, but like I would say about 2 months. But I was actually a youth leader there as well. When I first started, I just jumped right in. I wanted to learn everything,
Best way to learn is to teach.
Right, exactly. And actually just jump with 2 feet, even if you don't know what you're doing, just put yourself out there and you learn as you go, fall in love with the process. And I fell in love with the process being there. But I realized like not a lot of people, they believe in man-made stuff so much that they get lost in that man-made shit and they forget exactly what the true scripture is supposed to do for you, like you're supposed, like somebody can memorize all those scriptures they want and read all the books they want, but if they don't actually apply it, what is it really doing for you? You're just going in a circle, and so that's what I kind of had to like separate myself for a little bit to see like the big picture. And I still pray, I read the Bible, and
I felt like you gave up one addiction for like the addiction of just diving into anything. Like,
Just yeah, just I mean, cause
so it was finances, and then it was the church, and then, but
mm-hmm,
they're positive things to get into,
right,
like of
yeah,
course. But once you learn one thing, you want to know more.
exactly.
But it's cool that you were putting yourself in those situations.
I really liked it too. I learned a lot from there. You know, I learned more about technology too. I was doing the broadcasting and stuff,
Oh, okay.
recording for their lives that they do for YouTube and things like that. Like this stuff right here. That's what I was doing, and I never done it before. So it was pretty cool. I was the director, so I'm like, okay. I don't know. Don't
If you
ask
know
me,
nothing,
but
yeah.
it just came. It just came to me.
So that's why you got the hoodie, and then you're saying you want a job, right?
Mm-mm. Oh, I guess. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, so
Okay.
I don't even know.
I mean, you're all filming. So,
Right.
so okay, we'll put you to work. You know, I was into videos mainly. Like speaking wasn't my forte,
Mm-hmm.
but I was curious and learning to ask questions that can be answered,
Right.
and then read into some things that people don't say sometimes. That's why I like to do these in person versus Zoom, because you miss nuances, you know, body language, or just
Yeah.
an overall sense of like how things are, like you can,
The vibes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It's good to be, you know, you definitely want to feel the vibes, that's for sure.
In the line of work that I'm doing now, a lot of it is meeting with a lot of new people, and of course, like send emails, and they're like, "Well, we can Zoom." I'm like, "No, you know, I'll drive to your office. We can meet at a coffee shop. You know, like I'll go out of my way to introduce myself to you and look you in the eye, shake your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see you as a real person than just something on a screen." I worked in the
Right.
basement of this place for 2 years.
Yep.
You like the human interaction part of it is so important.
Yep. I believe that too. I agree.
So like getting into a church and then surrounding yourself with those positive people, I think that's vital for mental health. And
Mm-hmm.
here in Wyandotte County specifically, like mental health is a major issue.
Yeah, it really is. Mental health, it is. And I think it's just because, like, with mental health, it's a mindset thing, and it just goes back to basically, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, so that's why I had to like put myself out there and just continuing to, even if I didn't know what I was doing, you know, put myself in rooms I never thought that I would ever be in, you know, just so I can learn and actually maybe get something back from it, you know, not like in a selfish way, but, you know, genuinely and moving with intention. And, you know, and
Intention is important.
intention is very important. So is being genuine, I believe, is very important too, you know, and, but I truly believe like a lot of people right now, their mentality is all screwed up, including myself before, you know, because I felt stuck, you know, because I didn't know anything else but what I already knew. But I knew I deserved more in life. I knew that I wasn't being exposed to my fullest potential,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, but everything that I did, it was always like a limit, you know. I could never get past that certain point of that
You can be
cycle.
your own worst enemy at times, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, we're our biggest critics, that's for sure.
well, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of fans now. People that are watching you and kind of, like I said, seeing the positivity that are coming off of like the stuff that you're putting out. Like there's other people that I find online that are doing great things as well. Um, I don't want to speak too soon, or I'll let you kind of speak to some future endeavors as well. Working with some people that are mutual friends. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you for being as authentic as you could here with me today.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your work as well. Hopefully, it comes out well.
Right, exactly.
But I'm pretty sure we'll meet again at some point, and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of getting more specifics. I'm gonna be curious and be looking out for some of the stuff you're gonna be doing in the future.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to launch this business, KC Micro Campers. That's actually my main focus right now for the next 6 months. So I'm pretty excited about that. I actually really believe that's everything that I've done these past 2 years to actually find myself again and to really find what my true purpose was this point right now. I've been preparing for this whole time.
So Casey Micro Campers.
Hmm. My 16-year-old daughter actually named it
Okay.
KC Micro Campers. Hmm.
And will you be doing that locally, or will you be?
Yeah, locally, well, we're gonna start here in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
Missouri. Well, you live in Kansas, but um, it will definitely start off in Kansas City, Missouri, and the goal is actually to expand through the whole Midwest and then just go from there. Um, the whole it's a long story. I know we just said our goodbyes, but
We can dive in
uh,
still. I was giving you an out at the same time.
how it all started was, me being on my journey. I didn't always have a place to live on my own. But that just had to go with the decision I made of not going back to work. So I sacrificed a lot to be able to continue to reinvest into myself, to continue growing. And um, that's how the idea came about of me wanting to renovate a box truck into a tiny home, to have wheels and a place to stay as I traveled to go to different events that I was going to, um, to continue that growth journey of mine, to continue, feeding my mind and meeting new people, networking, and doing all things of that sort. And, my kids were with their dad. So just, and it would help me save as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that way, because I mean, I started this journey, I was broke, and
Mm-hmm.
the cafe I have with my
Matter of
mom.
fact, you still owe me money.
I do. What? How do I owe you money?
Um, for investing like into your business before, like I'm just playing.
Oh, I was like, I'm all trying to think, like, what are you
It's
talking
always
about?
yeah, that's how it
I'm all
happens. That's how
thinking
you
that
get
you came to
scammed.
the cafe and you didn't get all your food or something. But I put money into that, but through that was my mom's dream. I just wanted to help her. And that's what I did. I'd never received anything from that financially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted to pay her back in a way for actually letting me stay with her at the time, to um, because I wasn't gonna pay her out of pocket,
Yeah, you'd be grateful.
and be grateful with
Right.
it. And I don't say not pay her out of pocket because I didn't want to, but it was just to pay her in a different way. So, but now things happen, but I did everything I did for that cafe was for free. I don't even drink coffee.
Yeah.
I learned how to make espressos, lattes, whatever the case may be, smoothies. I really have a passion for cooking. So I had to like learn all that, put everything that I was doing to the side and put
Mm-hmm.
that on pause to give something back to her and hopefully to pay her for the rest of her life.
Pretty sure she appreciated it.
Hmm.
She
I
was
hope so.
trying to do something herself and to have her kids with her, and
Hmm.
then still, like I said, gratitude.
Yep. I'm very grateful for that. Because doing that too, even though I didn't get nothing out of it financially, it definitely opened a lot more for me as well. Continuing what it is that I really wanted to do with my life. She was actually really just hoping that I would stay there and not get paid at all and, just stay there the whole time. And I'm like, no, you're crazy. I never agreed to that. So,
Well, you're probably making some bomb breakfast. What would you guys make there? What was your specialty?
we had some really good bagel sandwiches.
Okay.
It was, um, I even had like jumbo biscuits that I would make. It was like a cream cheese strawberry jelly with granola with raisins and stuff, like all from scratch. It was really good. Um, just basic things, Mexican quesadillas, Mexican breakfast, American breakfast, lunch.
Have tamales though.
No, we didn't have
You
tamales.
just made tamales for the first time, right?
Yeah, I just made tamales for the first time with my sister during Christmas.
Be honest.
They came out really good, actually.
Be honest.
No, I'm being.
Who told you that?
What, that they were good?
Yeah.
Everybody that ate them all. We made almost 5 dozen and it didn't even last. Couldn't even sell none of it. We thought we were going to have leftovers. And didn't even.
They're like crack too at the same time. Like,
yeah.
It might not be good. It may be cut.
Especially the next day, make some over easy eggs. And real Mexican.
That's
with
the
it.
only way to have it. Now I was curious, because you're Hispanic, right?
Yeah, I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. Half and half.
So your mom's Hispanic?
Yeah. My mom's Mexican American and my dad's Puerto Rican. But he's full-blooded Puerto Rican from San Juan.
¿Tú hablas español?
Poquito sí, pero no mucho.
That's what they all say.
No.
Every time I say that, everybody's like, que la.
Yeah. Que la frigada. Huh? Right? No.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help the fact that, my name's Brian everywhere I go. So it's kind of to be expected.
I mean, my name's Rosana, and everybody automatically assumes I speak Spanish. And I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I can have a conversation. I understand it for the most part, but when it comes to speaking it, I do the best I can.
Do you teach your kids?
I do the best I can.
Okay.
My youngest knows more, though, because her dad's from Honduras, so
okay.
They speak to her a lot in Spanish.
That's how my little girl is. She goes to all Spanish daycare.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's fun picking her up. But it forces me to learn more at the same time, too. Mm-hmm. So now, like, I go to Mexican restaurants, I chop it up. Mm-hmm. And then I can talk to, like, certain people in it. I understand a lot more than I can speak. I feel pretentious when I say it.
Right.
Sometimes.
I understand a lot more than I can speak.
Sometimes I'll say it in a Spanish accent, too. Like, what the hell?
I know, right? I don't know where that came from.
I don't talk like that.
I would say I learned more Spanish in high school than I did from my own family. Like, my grandmother and, like, her sisters and brothers or whatever, mm-hmm. They're fluent. But my mom, mm-mm.
You probably gang and bang with the set in Spanish. That's what it was.
Maybe. No comment.
That's what
That's
it was.
Good.
So we're not going to throw out what you was rapping.
But back to what I was saying about the KC micro campers,
mm-hmm.
How it all came to play, because I, it all came from me wanting to renovate a box truck out of one of my friends at the time that he had to have a place of my own, so that's where my idea really came from, and the passion that I have for it, because I've always wanted to, before when I worked at Kellogg's, I always wanted to get into the real estate, but I never had time to do it. I was always there. I mean, I had the money, but I didn't have the time at the time. And, and just making something beautiful out of something ugly, and giving back to the less fortunate is what I wanted to do then. But with this now, like, I believe with all the interest rates going on and the housing market is just kind of ridiculous, I really think this will help a lot of people being mobile and having a home away from home and being able to give back to, entrepreneurs. Because I also want to start, I want to start my business as well, but at the same time, alongside with it, I want to start a nonprofit organization. So every third camper that is made, I want to be able to donate it back to, a local entrepreneur or a veteran, a homeless veteran. So traveling nurses, maybe battered single women with children, just something for my community, and to really create a safe place for entrepreneurs, and not just donate it and tell them, okay, be on your way, but actually have a place where they can go to, to get that financial literacy that they need to actually be able to grow in all aspects in life. Like, basically give back everything that I needed and I seeked through my whole journey of being an entrepreneur. So
be the change.
Mm-hmm. Becoming the change I want to see.
Well, that's it. And, like, be the person that you wish you had when you was a kid.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I can only imagine who your role models were.
As a kid.
Do I want to? No. Do we want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to think about that.
It was
You know, I know.
rap music.
Rap music, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's dope. Especially the nonprofit side of it. And I remember you were saying something that you were going to try to come over to Wyandotte County and do some of that for us over here too.
Yeah.
No.
Do you have a tissue?
Um,
Yeah, actually, I do want to move this way after launching in Kansas City, Missouri.
nothing on hand, but you can use the restroom real quick if you need.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be right back. My nose is.
And then we can wrap it up.
It all made me cry.
That was real emotions, folks. And it wasn't for me. I didn't do that. But whenever you get on this journey, you start like understanding who you are and being able to do things for other people as well. It affects you in different ways. So to be of service, to help other, people who are struggling, this is why we're doing this. So take advantage. You want to watch the next Netflix episode, but I think at the same time, like, this stuff is vital. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, and you won't be disappointed. Especially when you see somebody else, benefiting off of some of your struggles and pain. So I was just keeping them company till you return. But that's admirable. I commend you for doing that. Shining light on positive people that are doing things, and not for the notoriety, not for the ego.
Right.
But
I can't deal with people and their ego.
yeah, it can be toxic real quick.
Yeah.
Humble,
Humbly, respectfully, never negative, but when you go through life too, like,
you know who you are, people.
Right, you know who you are, people, and with all most respect, not even you can't attach yourself to people quickly, especially being an entrepreneur. You vibe with the ones that are supposed to be there for a reason and not just for a season, so you can't be attached to everybody you come across. It's just not.
Well, you know that people aren't going to work. Like, you get that sense from people, like, who just want to kind of, like, be on the scene. Like, not necessarily entourage style, but, like, they just want to not even clout chase.
I mean, you'll realize who wants to just use you, too.
Yeah.
Honestly. Who just wants to use you. I mean, me, too, myself. Like, I'd say, surround yourself by people that want more for you, not just more from you. So once you realize that, and once you realize what people's true intentions are when they're moving around you, like, you can feel the vibe. Move accordingly. Don't just stay stuck because you think that's the only person you're going to come across.
Self-awareness is big on that, though.
Exactly.
You have to know yourself in order to decipher.
Yeah. I definitely been across a lot of people, too. But it helped with my self-awareness. I learned from every situation that I've been through. So.
Well, from the situation I was telling you about earlier today, certain meetings or whatnot, and then moving forward, before that, like, whenever I was kind of going through my struggles, and I was like, man, like, I want to be able to help people. And then you see people wanting to take advantage of that just because, like, you want to serve, you want to help, you understand what it feels like to like hit certain points in your life, so you want to get back.
Yep.
And then you see people like taking advantage of that, and you're like, okay, now I gotta kind of like protect myself. You gotta protect your energy.
Definitely protect your energy at all costs. It's very important.
It's vital.
Very important.
It's vital. And next time I gotta make sure I keep some Kleenex on standby.
Yeah, I had to blow my nose. Sorry.
That's it though. That's deep. Like,
had me crying internally, bringing up my past. I'm just kidding.
Now you made me feel like Oprah. Which was my goal in life. Thank you.
Right. You get a car. You get a car.
Look under your seat. There's $100.
Right. That's goals too.
You
Give
get a
back.
car. I totally forgot about that.
She's one of the wealthiest black women in the world.
Yeah, I mean, do you even have to say black? I mean, or like.
Well, I mean, I don't say it as a racial thing.
I know,
you know,
I'm just saying, but like, who's the wealthiest woman? I don't know. Probably Bill Gates' wife.
Well, she's one of the wealthiest women that I know, and it just makes it more special because she's black.
Not Bill Gates' wife.
Bill Gates' wife.
Amazon's wife.
Well, it's not Barack Obama's wife.
No.
He's the president.
No.
Well, he was the president.
Not Tom Brady's either.
No. Well, she might be more than he is. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Got half and nothing. He lost it all. Good luck with that. I think he did that on purpose. He was in on it. Good. I see you, Tom. I see you, Tom.
I was gonna say, I think it was all a setup for real.
You call him stupid. Yeah, that's what he wanted you to think. Kansas City Shuffle. Mm-hmm. That's the real deal.
That's funny because I say that. I told my daughter that the other day. She was like, "Look at you playing stupid." I'm like, "Yeah, I just wanted to see what he said." I mean, I already know, so.
That's the hard point too, like gaslighting. And you realize how, like, for one, I know that the main thing is, like, when somebody's lying, let them talk. They will reveal themselves.
Exactly.
And when you ask specific questions and then people, like, either dodge it or they tell you alternative facts and you're like, that's not what I was asking, but I get my answer now.
Right.
You don't have to say anything.
Don't even finish. Let's move on.
He's like, matter of fact, I'm curious. What happened?
Exactly.
But no, like you said, but if you surround yourself with positive people, a lot of times you become self-aware, you pick up on intentions, and it's the one thing that I've learned in my life, if anything, is that people like to help people that help themselves. Mm-hmm. So if they see you putting the initiative in, they see you trying, even if they put you in uncomfortable situations, like, this ain't my job description.
Right.
But I'm going to go figure it out.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can't help nobody that doesn't want to be helped. You're just draining yourself. Why continue to? That's where it comes into protecting your energy at all costs.
Do you ever reach out to people from Kellogg's and be like, man, this is what you need to do too? And they're like, nah, I just want to be here.
Yeah, a few, actually. And I felt like, that actually took a big toll on my mindset, for a while. Like, I really had to go through all that in order to grow through it because I couldn't make them believe what I believed in now, even though to help them see there was more to life than just that, because that's all they know, they know to go bust their back to make that $27 to $30 an hour. But on reality, like, you deserve more than that, and you can get more than that as long as you're open-minded, but they're just so, not just them in particular, but there's a lot of small-minded people out there, and they're stuck in their ways, so, because they're comfortable. I mean, you have to get uncomfortable. Security. So
I was putting it, like, I was up last night just kind of like thinking, and there was one thing I was posted out there was like, just like, don't hang out with me because I'll break your false sense of security in a minute.
Right, and that's where the mental health comes into play, because they're so stuck in their ways on that security, and then once you take it from them so instantly, like how they did with COVID, it had a lot to do with suicidal thoughts and things of that nature, because they don't know anything else. They don't know what else to do because that's all they know. That's why it's important for me to give back and actually not just give them something, but to actually teach them something as well, to teach what I was taught to be able to continue growing.
Well, you mentioned attachments, and people like identify themselves with what they were doing, or that's, like you said, that's all they know. So they become that, and once you take it away from them, they're all like, well, who am I now?
Exactly.
that's a hard thing to deal with.
And that's true because, I mean, I went through the same thing. I didn't know who I was.
Yep.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know who I was or why I was even going to these events, you know? Like, what the hell? Why would I do that? But I did it anyways because there was nothing else. Like, there's nothing left for me to do, so I might as well just try it out. But the first event that I went to, if I would have never went to that event and I was still trading and stuff, I would have gave up on that a long time ago. Like, I was trading for about like a month, maybe about a month and a half, and I decided to go to my first event, which changed my life. Even though that money, being able to make that money within the 15 minutes, I mean, that changed my whole perspective, you know, on that type of lifestyle. But, and knowing that I wanted to master that skill and all that, but really going to my first event and actually being in a room full, and just realizing I was in a room full of people that were happy, which was crazy to me. I've never been in a room with so many people that were happy at once. And it was a big ass room. There was about 1,000 people there, maybe about 1,500 people. And, you know, I just remember thinking, like, I've never seen so many happy people in one room, which was mind-blowing to me. But just hearing, you know, the keynote speakers speak about their lives and their experiences and why they are where they are today, and realizing, like, they're only human too. They come from where I come from, so if they can do it, why can't I do it? So,
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
And do you credit somebody from, like, turning you on to this, or you just found it online?
What, like going to the event?
Talk to them? Yeah, do we still talk to them? Are they able to be?
Well, I want to give back because I was actually supposed to go to Vegas with one of my friends that I don't even talk to anymore. But for some reason, it wouldn't go through. So I used that money to go to the event instead, if that makes sense. So I think it all happened for a reason, not going there to be able to go to. And I didn't even know where I was going to stay until the day before I got there. That's how big of a leap of faith I was taking with this. And I have to give it back to the people that were within that community, you know, for actually introducing me to that world and to letting me stay there with them in a house full of people that I didn't even know.
What was your box truck then?
And right, that's why I need a box truck. That's why I need a micro camper. Okay.
See, that's how you roll it back
from
into
KC,
your business.
or
KC micro campers.
Exactly.
Good for any of your events you going to. This was an event in Vegas, or
no, it was an event in Texas.
Texas.
Yep, it was in Houston, Texas.
Shout out to McAllen. Shout out to Donna, Texas. I got family way down in the valley. You know who you are.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
What up, SA?
Hi, vatos. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why that happened.
Now you're reminiscing too hard. I'm getting in trouble.
Right, exactly.
That's cool though. Like a leap of faith into yourself. I mean, so the confidence factor, in my eyes, is a major factor to anybody trying to bet on themselves. So, you're going to be insecure about some things. But once you get to a point where, like, you're comfortable being uncomfortable, like staying in a place full of people that you don't know, and taking a chance and, like, going someplace. You've been to Texas before?
Before then, yeah, I was once before.
Okay.
Waco, Texas.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was beautiful, actually.
Oh. I only know like tragic incident that happened in Waco.
Oh, wow.
You don't know about David Koresh?
Who's that?
David Koresh was a guy who thought he was Jesus, and he had a compound, and everybody was worshiping him. It was a cult, and
oh shit.
FBI ended up like lighting it on fire, but they said that he did it, and a bunch of kids and women died in there.
Oh wow! No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, of course you didn't.
Why I went is because of Chip and Joanna Gaines. That's the only reason why I knew Waco, Texas existed. But they have a
Mongolia?
great like amusement park out there, like a water park. So uh we took well my husband at the time we took the kids there for the first time to try it out, and we went to go see their empire that they built down there. We ate at their restaurant and then we went to the silos and
Shout out Mongolia.
Mongolia.
I don't know what the name of their show is.
Fixer upper.
Fixer Upper. Fixer Upper. It's
I liked watching her because that's what I'm gonna be doing with my
fucked
QC
up the real estate
campers.
game too. Everybody wants to be a real estate agent at that point too.
Well, little they know they couldn't do what they were doing.
Yeah. No. Yeah, they had it on lock. Interior design, I think, is a key thing to do. It's fun.
It is.
You
It's
get to
fun.
be an artist inside your house, which I'm working on.
Creative director comes into play.
For sure. Which matter of fact, I'll have you sign a wall. I'm gonna start like collecting.
Oh, really? You're being serious?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
in my
cool.
room, I like write like scriptures, and I have not a vision board, but I write like things that are important to me, my foundations, and for like my daughter, business.
That's
and
good.
I'm not gonna tell everybody all the rest of it.
Mhm.
But
Do you believe in vision boards?
I think yeah. Because one of the things I got written on my wall was write the vision and make it plain upon tables for, he reads it with runneth.
Oh, yep. There you go.
So
That's powerful right there.
putting things down. I believe speaking things into existence, manifesting it that way.
Me
Thus the podcast. Because I do like to write, but I'm just not that great. Like my handwriting's
too. Yeah.
it's crappy.
Yeah. I believe in speaking things into existence, because sometimes we have to trick ourselves into believing that we can actually, have better,
I don't even think it's a trick though. Like I literally think that butterfly effect, where you speak something, and not even like thinking about it, but you're putting it out to the universe just by saying it. And everything that you think about in the universe, ultimately, you have to think 3 ways, according to Nikola Tesla, which is energy, vibration, and frequency. That's how he determined,
True.
the ways of the world. That's how we got Wi-Fi, so on and so forth, radios. E equals MC squared. Now I'm not going to try to break down, the full theory of relativity.
And it all comes with your imagination.
Einstein's biggest experiment was thought experiment.
Right. So if it's all cloudy and non-sober, how are you supposed to know?
One thing I've been trying to do too is I was like addicted to working out for a while, and I stopped. The holidays really messed me up. I think what it was, I got COVID, because it was like a week and I was down and I couldn't move at all, and I kind of fell out of it. But that was like my meditation.
Oh, wow. I think I'm the only person that didn't get COVID.
You probably just didn't know it.
I mean, I went and got tested
You're
a couple
sneezing
times, so
and
they
stuff
thought
right
I did
now.
have it.
Yeah.
I am not sneezing. I have like a little runny nose. I think because I walked here, though. It's kind of cold and then it's hot. I do have allergies, so.
Well, next time we'll send the car to pick you up.
Oh, no, it's okay.
We're going to blow up here.
I enjoy walking, though, so.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I used to go on meditation, like jogging was meditation for me. Like just repetitive steps. You're not thinking about anything. You're just doom. I used to do like 3 miles in a day before work. And then come back and then do it again. Like I said, I was higher. What is it? Runner's high. Like I was addicted to it. Like it was weird. But it was a good thing. And then I definitely don't do it now.
No.
For multiple reasons, which we may get into at some point. But trying to meditate on stuff now.
Trying, or you are?
Well, I say
Or-
trying. I say
I don't
trying.
say trying, because you're either going to do it or you ain't.
What are you, Yoda?
I'm just saying.
Do you know? Well,
You're either going to do it or you ain't, though.
you either try. Was it do or do not? There is no try.
Mm-hmm.
That's Star Wars. In case you didn't know.
Oh, okay.
In case
Now it
you
makes
didn't know.
sense.
And you know, we kind of live and die by the Jedi's.
You got them right here behind me.
Yeah. And they're not for sale, but we can still talk. Yeah, no, that's important. I do meditate, but it's not for very long. Like, it's hard for me to not get, sucked back into not talk. Just let's just say memories. Going through a divorce, like not seeing my daughter, like not having her here.
Mm-hmm.
When this house was filled with her laughter, and even her crying, and then when it gets silent, it's like, man. But working through it, trying to be somebody that she would be proud of, and not in an egoic sense, because I want her to know what it's like to serve and be of service to people, where you don't have to take all the time. That giving is better than receiving, because in the end, ultimately, like, you'll be rewarded, whether
Exactly.
with respect, and if you find something that you love to do, the money will come.
Yep, exactly.
But fuck you, Kellogg's. No disrespect to people that still work there. We know that you gotta do your thing. I got a couple homies that are out there, making that money.
I love a lot of people that work there too.
What we're saying is, though, come fuck with us, and we can help you put some of that money to good use.
Exactly.
We are looking for some charitable donations as well in a lot of the different programs that we're doing. So I do work with a lot of nonprofits, mainly in the youth mental health space and public health. We have, I do a promo, I guess, for Marco Flaco Ramirez's boxing gym that we talked to recently, saying that they're having trouble getting kids to come because of membership fees, especially around the holidays. So we've been looking into trying to get them some sponsorship.
Oh, that's cool. And how are you guys doing that?
Well, with the position that I'm working in right now, that's part of the task forces that we're doing. But a friend of mine actually reached out, wanted to support people for Christmas, and had other friends who were curious about donating into it. And
That's
plus,
awesome.
Being in a certain space, surrounding yourself with different people. People love to invest. They invest in, whether it's real estate or other assets, but also it's great for taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Donating.
Right, and they say too, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, really. Once you get that information. So.
Yeah, we can talk about that offline.
Relationships are important.
Because if you guys want to know the real information too, though, you gotta subscribe.
Yep.
To our Patreon.
Subscribe to this page, guys.
You got a Patreon?
You
got a Patreon or anything?
A Patreon.
Patreon. It's what like it's a membership program with like people can only watch certain videos.
Oh no, I don't have that.
Well, a lot of people that I was following on trading and whatnot, they had Patreons. I'm like, yeah, you want that real exclusive of how to do this? He's like, jump on here for Patreon.
Oh, that's what it's called, Patreon. I didn't know there was a word for it.
Yeah. It's separate from OnlyFans. That's
my bad.
It's not, no.
I'm just like, send me that Discord or Telegram chat.
Yeah. I just got back on the Discord recently. A lot of chats that I were following, I didn't follow anymore, but then I got back on it. Telegram is definitely where it's at. For more than one reasons, people. Protect yourself. SMS sucks.
Yeah. There are a lot of scammers out there. You have to be careful. Boy. They're crazy. Like, don't you guys have anything better to do than...
I almost scammed you out of $5 earlier.
Right. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? But I'm going to investigate, okay? So
don't trust verify.
Yeah.
Don't trust
I'm
verify.
gonna verify everything first.
No, it was true skepticism too.
Mhm.
It was like, hold on a minute.
I'm like,
Don't take advantage of my generous heart.
yeah. Hey, you have to be careful because some people
Protect
will.
yourself.
Right.
Yeah, no, but things like that. Patreon are good. I'm pretty sure if you shout out your Cash App, you might receive some donations. Maybe I'll just plug that into the video form too. So
Who did that the other day?
people do it.
I've seen my cousin actually. She did it with her Cash App, and I'm like, I shared it. I'm like, okay, I didn't receive nothing though. You know, it was worth a shot. Somebody actually put their Cash App in my
for real
in the comments. I'm like, bro, this is for you.
Trying to stay. It was a dude.
Yeah, I was like,
God, man, you thirsty?
oh gosh, but I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I don't know.
I didn't really expect anything
It's pretty
from
good
it anyways. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I didn't expect nothing. But
Notes.
yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, no, because I mean, obviously, the point would mean at some point being able to monetize this, but for charitable aspects. So, like to be able to give college funds to people in the hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got a lot of people that are doing things in the neighborhood, but I don't see it helping people in the neighborhood.
Right.
Food is going to be important, so there's going to be big food scarcity.
I see a lot of people focusing on the physical, you know, and the wellness, which is good, but not so much the mental. I think the mental that we have provided to us right now is not really working. I mean, I don't believe it's working at all. So that's why I was so intrigued when you invited me on here to talk about mental health is because that's one of the topics I really want to focus on, because it all begins with your mindset. A lot of people, you know, like we were talking about fear earlier, and a lot of people don't do a lot of things because out of fear. So I believe fear is all in your mind, and you really have to believe in yourself to have that confidence in yourself. But you can't build that confidence and that belief within yourself if you have fear going through your mind the whole time, you know? So, I mean, fear is the main thing, is the main source that kills a lot of dreams of a lot of people, because they're just so scared of whatever it is that they're scared of. For example, like they're scared that, well, if I try this and get rid of this, what if this doesn't work out? And then I have to go back to this, and bro, forget that, because you're not even happy over there. So do what makes you happy. Once you do what makes you happy and continuing to, you know, separate from those bad habits and generate new, better habits, you know, that really knocks out the fear, and that builds your confidence and that belief within yourself, and to continue to have faith in exactly what you're really here for, what you're really created to do here on earth. So I mean, because the only thing that's valid in life is death. So what are you really scared of? I mean, because I'm sure everybody's scared to die, right? So, but I mean, I'm not scared to die. Not anymore. I used to be.
Is that a challenge?
You know? No.
Right.
I mean, I'm not ready to go yet. I'm definitely not ready to go yet. But I feel like I'm no longer going to let fear of something stop me of what I really want to do in life, because I'm going to live my life to the fullest, to my fullest potential, no matter what anybody says or does.
I heard somebody say die every day. Like die a little bit every day. Like
die every day.
Yeah, and I was trying to make sense of it.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Well, the understanding was like die every day. Like live every day like you died, and then
like live every day like you're going to die tomorrow?
Something like that. But I guess it was in the reference to somebody who was diagnosed with cancer, and he walked outside after being diagnosed. And when he looked outside, he was like, wow, it's beautiful. Like, why haven't I noticed this before? Why haven't I lived this way before, knowing I was going to die? Yeah. And it was like, well, you know, if you live like that every day, like live like you die every day, you would be grateful. And take advantage. But we get programmed into that. That's the thing that we don't know. It's implicit
Exactly.
and it's traditional sometimes, but it's trained to be feared of the boogeyman, or who's outside, or like strangers and stuff. Which some of it's good to keep your kids safe, but like a lot of that is just parents social engineering their kids and school systems.
Yeah. I mean, even people were too, like, they have that fear of not pleasing someone, you know? So, I mean, I truly believe
That's big.
right, like, a lot of people live up to other people's expectations. And that's why that comes with their mental as well, and why they feel so drained and unhappy because they're so busy trying to please someone else instead of pleasing themselves, you know? So once they can stop doing that and actually just focus on themselves, they'll be so much better in life. They'll have all that confidence in the world that they need to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do with their life, and not worry about losing or detaching themselves from what they know or what they grew up knowing.
I felt another nonprofit coming on.
Yeah, that's the nonprofit that I'm ready for.
So I'm looking into art therapy, like art as therapy, because this is therapeutic for me.
I like art too.
What's your favorite medium?
I actually have a few pictures of my own that I've drawn or painted anyways. And I never even knew that I could paint. But it was very, like you said, therapeutic for me. It put me in a different mind, different perspective, and it was just very calm.
What inspired you? Was it
Smoking
nature?
weed.
How we get to it?
It was a smoke and paint session thing.
Those were pretty cool. I never been to one. I thought they were interesting though.
Yeah, that was my first time. I did it twice. So
So I guess you drew a moon and
right, but I mean, I've only done it twice, but
no,
I used to smoke a lot, you know. I smoked all the time. Even when I stopped drinking, I substitute the drinking for the smoking, which I realized, and I stopped smoking all in one. And now, like, I would say, like, I do occasionally, but not as much as I used to.
Right.
I just, a couple times, and it actually helps you connect with the earth, and you see things, and it actually opens my mind a lot more. But the point is that I have control over it. It no longer has control over me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the weed talking.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't.
It should be good these days, man. Like,
No, this dispensary shit. No, I'm good on all that.
Yeah,
that's something different. That's
well, I mean, I quit.
It's all laced with narcotics, and the government took over. It's no good. Sorry, I'm just saying.
Too deep into that. I want to make sure that you make it home safe.
I'll make it home.
But I think a lot of that was like, which they proved, like off market. Recently, I seen a report where they talked about they found enough fentanyl in America to kill every American, and here in Wyandotte County specifically, and I just know the facts here. I don't know what it's like, nationwide as of right now, but a demographic of 15 to 23-year-olds were overdosing because they just didn't know what was in it, and they've been putting it in weed nowadays. Well, they've been doing it for a while.
Right. So tell me this. So when you go to the doctor and they give you pain medicine, what is the first thing that they give you? Opioids. What else besides that? Morphine.
Yeah.
Well, they no longer give you morphine. You know what they replaced it with? Fentanyl.
Fentanyl?
So it's a cycle, bro. Like, it's like, that's what I truly believe.
I didn't know that.
They replaced it with fentanyl. It's a certain amount dosage, of course. And I think that's why a lot of people, prescribe drugs, over-the-counter drugs. It's all science, It's all narcotics. No matter what you think, it all has all kinds of side effects to it. whatever the case may be, no matter what you're going through. If it's not helping a certain area in your body, it's going to fuck up another area in your body. And that's why, you know, you get your blood drawn, they do tests on you. You know, you're basically an experiment. But fentanyl has been replaced with morphine in the hospitals
I
for
thought we was
pain
gonna dive
meds.
into conspiracy theories for a second. I was like, let's go.
I was thinking about it, but I had to pull myself back because, like you said,
go.
I'm ready. I mean, I'm gonna make it home, so that's I ain't going out without a fight.
Yeah.
But
That's like another 2 hours.
it is right, and I gotta go home too. So,
Um,
you know, it just makes me mad too because I recently just lost a cousin through fentanyl. You know, for that, and it's just it's they're making it too available, especially if it's over the counter now. Of course, there's a lot of people getting a hold of it. Why? That's why we're seeing all these overdoses. So, and it all has to do with fentanyl.
you think Michael Jackson started that trend?
You know what? They talked all kinds of shit about that man before he died, and all of a sudden he's a legend. Like,
I know.
I feel bad for him, but
We're not giving him no shine here. But yeah, no. I mean, that was the first time I ever heard of it. And then I think it was Prince, and then I learned that they're even putting it on marijuana. And then next thing you know, like going to one of these meetings, they're talking about how bad it really is.
yeah,
It's like playing
pretty
drug
bad.
roulette. You don't know. One person can take a pill or whatever from the same person, from the same dealer. One person takes it, the other person takes it. One person ODs, the other person doesn't, just because it's uneven. Like it's really just
Right.
playing with your life.
They really are. They're trying to take us out slowly but surely. There's too many people. So.
Well, I think there's been enough tragedy for today. We can go ahead and wrap it up for the second time, which I try to cut it off with the 1 hour marker, but I told you these things can go on. It just kind of depends.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I thought it was very insightful. You said it was your first time, right? Or you did one before?
It's my first in person. I did a virtual before,
Okay.
but it was his first time actually hosting a podcast too. So
interesting.
it was
I mean, okay, I remember you saying
definitely
that.
experience.
My thing is, I try not to do that much talking because I want people to get to know the person that I'm interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, you can't invite me on your podcast too, like.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the works once I create that environment.
Mobile.
We're gonna have it. I actually want to have it that building that was next door to the cafe. That's still part of my plan to have the rooftop patio and everything.
We need more events. Anything you want to do in Wyandotte County, let me know.
Yeah, I really want that building. I'm probably just gonna buy the whole building.
There you go.
Because that owner sucks.
Yeah.
He really sucks.
I don't know. Do you want to speak to La Bonita? Casa Bonita?
Got some.
You know what I'm talking about? Or just leave it alone?
Yeah, just do it.
I'll leave it alone. I tried it once.
We'll leave that for another day.
Yeah. But now, once again, like I said, pleasure having you today. I've found it very insightful. Hopefully everybody else does too.
Hope so.
And yeah, we'll do it again in the future. And then whenever you get your stuff going on, definitely make sure that we get a little more in depth. I don't want to kind of reveal anything too soon.
Yeah.
But
definitely a work in progress right now.
if you want to shout out or come talk about it again, just let me know. But you're always welcome, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor to be here with you, and it's just an honor just you considering me to be on your podcast. I'm grateful. So thank you.
Needed somebody to, throw shade on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Hot takes.
Hey, that can be prevented, y'all. So if you guys need help, let me know. I'll help you out.
But yeah, for sure. Glad to see you in the entrepreneur space.
Thank you.
And look forward to what you do in the future.
Thank you. I'm excited to see you as well. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Later.
Bye.